I'm going to throw out some scenarios. You're going to tell me if you like them or not. John Wall is expected to join the Clippers. Like it or don't like it?
Like it, even if it's going to cost them a good backup setter and Isaiah Hartenstein. But John Wall's a good fit. He has a dynamism that they haven't had, just like quick north-south guy. And when they play 5 out with no center, which I think they're going all in on, good luck staying in front of all the off-the-dribble creation they have now. Like it.
Oh, if he is healthy, he is dangerous.
People also forget John Wall, terrific guy setting up three-point shooters. Those spread lineups are going to be killing.
Oh, absolutely. What about Zion getting the rookie max extension? Like it or don't like it?
Love it. I suspect the Pelicans will try and negotiate some injury protections like the Sixers did with Embiid. But you're the New Orleans Pelicans. You're a small market team with no history of winning. You cannot quibble about a guy like Zion Williamson despite the injury and conditioning issues. You just do it and move on.
Okay, let's talk about another guy we're always talking about. James Harden gets a max extension. Like it or don't like it?
Are we talking about a 5-year max here? Because I think the only people that would really like that are James Harden and like the 10 closest confidants to him. James Harden is almost 33 years old. He didn't look like the James Harden of old at all last year. We really haven't seen that guy other than glimpses of it in Brooklyn when he was early. So I just don't think that's in the cards. A shorter term max or an opt-in and a couple years tacked on at the max, that's fine. That's Joel Embiid's championship window. Let's go now. You just can't attach yourself to a $55, $60 million James Harden deal when he's 37, 38 years old.
Just to even think about that boggles the mind. So, Tim, let's stop down and talk about Harden. What do you think is the ceiling for Harden and the Sixers?
Well, I think the ceiling, those are two different things, right? Let's start with Harden.
Right.
If Harden comes back with his hamstring, he's going to have this whole offseason to work out. Last year, he was not the player he was before he injured his hamstring in Brooklyn. But remember, those first 2 months in Brooklyn, he was a top 5 player in the league. He was an MVP candidate, even after the ugliness that came with his Rockets exit. This offseason, he has said he needs a full offseason to be healthy and ready to go after going through the season not feeling 100% with that hamstring. Can he get the burst back that he had before? If he can, he's a top 10 player in the league again. If he can't, he's the player he was last year, which is still a very good player. And that's why I think the Sixers have a chance to be an elite team in the East after this offseason. I love the DeAnthony Melton trade. He brings them athleticism, defense, and rebounding, 3 things you know as a Sixer guy they did not have a lot of last year. And they have now the ability to go into this offseason, make some moves, add another piece, maybe with the full mid-level exception. Daryl Morey has proven time and again he's good at finding value up and down the roster and from unknown places around the league. And remember, this team got to Game 6 of the conference semifinals with Joel Embiid having a broken face and a broken thumb, and with just a few months of James Harden probably not being, even if he's a little better, than he was last year. So I think with those two guys, with Tyrese Maxey getting better, with the pieces around them, I think the Sixers have a real chance to be a factor in the East.
So you think they can be an elite team even if he's not a top 5 guy?
They have arguably the most dominant player in the league in Joel Embiid. And James Harden fits well with him. Tyrese Maxey fits well with him. And they're going to have a whole season to optimize that roster around Joel Embiid in ways they even were not able to last year. So, yes, I think they can.
Okay, so Seth, I'm a Philly guy, so I'm inherently negative. I don't know if I'm believing that. Are you buying it?
I am buying it, but the key is James Harden getting in world-class shape. When you're injured, you cannot get in shape, but you cannot improve unless you're in shape. And we haven't seen James Harden at his best. Here's a perfect example. He shot 49% on layups and dunks last year. What does that mean? He didn't have a burst to get by people, and he didn't have any lift to play through contact and finish. So, first and foremost, if he's healthy, he's got to get in world-class shape. If he can get in world-class shape, then he can get downhill. The game becomes easier. DeAnthony Melton, I think, is a huge get because it's a perimeter guy that can defend, rebound, get in the lane, and make plays. If they get P.J. Tucker, now Melton and Tucker are Doc Rivers-type winning players to surround Harden and Harris and the other pieces they have with Embiid. All of a sudden now they become a factor to win the East and maybe compete for a championship. Embiid could be maybe the toughest matchup as a front-court player in the NBA. So I think that is the makings of a championship caliber team if Harden is in great shape.
But here's the thing, and I'm glad you made that point at the very end, if he's in great shape. Zach, we're talking about Harden being in world-class shape and being a top 5 guy. Do you see that happening with James Harden?
Top 5, no. But look, the Sixers are my siren song. I can never resist the Sixers. They just keep luring me in. And I kind of think we're all sleeping on the Sixers a little bit. I agree. You called me an optimist last week when I said I'm closing the door on Harden as a top 5 guy, but I'm not closing the door on Harden as like a third-team All-NBA level player. The Harden-Embiid pick and roll was the single most efficient pick and roll in the entire NBA after the Harden trade. A full season, like Tim said, to figure out how Maxey can best play off them, to figure out how DeAnthony Melton fits in. Maybe PJ Tucker's coming. I really, really like this team. I think they have a chance to be really good. Embiid is that good. And if Harden could, look, top 5, forget it. I don't think we're going to see that again. But if Harden can be in that conversation for a third-team All-NBA, that's enough. And yet, I keep coming back to what we just saw. James Harden disappearing in an elimination game again and then making excuses about how the ball didn't find him. I've just seen that movie so many times that I don't know how much I'm going to be able to believe until we see that guy come through in an elimination game in a big way.
You have just explained the plight of every Philadelphia fan in history right now and how we feel. Thank you for encapsulating our feelings, Zach Lowe. Thanks. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.